Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be doing a first look at the game Vijayanagara. This is the Deccan empires of medieval India, 1290 to 1398. This is from GMT Games. And there's a bunch of designers on here. Saverio Spagnoli, Matthew Johnson, Corey Graham, Amon Matthews. Developer was Joe Hurst, game art Matthew Johnson, and the historical consultant Aparna Kapadia. I hope I pronounced everybody's name correctly. If I did not, I apologize. But you might wonder, what is this game? Well, it is the first volume here of GMT Games' Irregular Conflict Series. Okay, so what's the Irregular Conflict Series? It's basically, I think, a branch off of the coin tree. So if you're familiar with the coin games, this is somewhat similar to that. So let's take a look at the back of the box here before we bust into it. So here's a long description of what it's covering, right? So you're covering over 100 years of history of India back in the time of the Delhi Sultanate. So you have various factions, and as you might expect, based on it being called the Irregular Conflict Series, you have some asymmetric roles here. So it says right here at the bottom, Vijayanagara depicts the epic century-long rise and fall of medieval kingdoms in India over two dynastic periods. Players will take on the asymmetric roles of the Delhi Sultanate, the Bahmani Kingdom, and the Vijayanagara Empire, navigating event cards and unique action menus as they contest to write themselves into medieval Indian history. Periodic Mongol invasions will present dangers for some and opportunities for others to spread influence throughout the subcontinent. Rally local amirs and rajas to your cause, construct epic temples, forts, and qasbahs, and negotiate in battle for supremacy over the Deccan plateau. As you can see, it's for 1 to 3 players. It does have a full solitaire system. It's for 14 and up, 1 to 2 hours. The complexity is a 4, so this is a little bit less complicated than some games. And our solitaire suitability, of course, since it does have a solitaire mode, is a 9. So again, this is somewhat similar to coin. There are some differences, I believe. I've briefly read or skimmed the rulebook on the GMT website. So if you are interested in the game, that might be something to look at. If you just hop onto gmtgames.com, you can read the rulebook ahead of time and kind of see how the game works. But let's open it up and see what's inside the box. Okay. So open the box. All right, so here's our rule book, and it is relatively thin. You can see it's really not a very long rule book. And then you have the Ibn Battuta card-based non-player. So this would be your solitaire rules for the bot, basically. And then you have your learn to play and your playbook. So the thing is, what they recommend is you use the learn to play to actually learn to play the game, right? That makes sense. And then the rule book is more of a reference for, to refer back to as you're playing. So you go through the learn to play here, and they explain how to play the game. This was written by Joe Dewhurst, who was the developer, of course. I'm familiar with his work on the British Way, so I know that this is probably a very nicely done learn to play situation where he'll go through everything, and basically you read through this and kind of follow along. And here's our example of play. You go through the example of play, and it'll teach you how to play the game. And then you'll just have to kind of refer back to the rules, and the rules aren't all that long. So the rule play, it says right here, stop. If this is your first time playing, you might want to start with the Learn to Play booklet, which will guide you through setup and teach you the game. This rule book is intended primarily for reference purposes. And the rule book is a total, including your key terms, of 17 pages. So not very lengthy at all. So this is a fairly straightforward game. And again, you go through everything. Turn 2, we have a Mongol invasion Mongol Invasion 1, Amass and Attack and Plunder. Turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. So it brings you through 6 turns, it looks like, of the game. And then there's a teaching guide about how once you learn how to play the game, how you can teach it to others. So again, I'm not really surprised given the, given who did the game and who developed the game, that this would be very well organized. So here we have a playbook. So this will have historical background and go through kind of what's in the event cards and so on. So you can get some historical depth. Now, I personally do not have a lot of knowledge of the history of India. So this is something that I will be reading, to help me play the game, but also to, help me learn about the period of history and the situation that the game is covering. So, yeah, see, and these are all our event card descriptions and everything. So, again, very well done, as you would expect. Now, let's take a look here. So we have the cards. So there should be 3 of these, I would guess, and there are. So you have 3 that kind of show all the commands and decrees. And again, this will be somewhat familiar if you played any coin games. Commands and decrees, what you can do when it's your turn, depending on which faction you are playing. And there's even one for the Mongol invaders, which is a non-player faction. And then Timur's invasion of Delhi. So this is the legendary Turco-Mongol conqueror when he turns his eye to India. Now we have our sequence of play card. And on the other side, the goat tiger game. Interesting. That's kind of cool. So yeah, so again, it's very, very straightforward. You draw the event card and you go through the eligible factions, first, second, third, and you can do whatever, right? You can play the event, do a limited command, do a command only. So you can do command and decree, command only or event, a limited command, or you can pass. And then it would move to the next faction and the next faction. And so each card will have, I would assume, something for all the factions to do. You have a Mongol invasion card, a succession card, the Timurid Empire card. Here's our deck construction. And again, this I'm assuming is an old game from India. I would assume that's mentioned in one of the one of the books. Okay, so here you have player aid cards for the 3 factions. So you have the Vijayanagara Empire, player aid. So we've got place Rajas, migrate destination, remove tributary, attack, place temple, compel, remove, replace opposing, and remove own. Succession cards, Mongol invasion cards, events, cavalry. On the back, you've got some information about the faction, apparently. So we have the same thing for the Bahmani Kingdom. And, of course, we also have one for the Sultanate. So the same thing. Then we have our relatively small half sheet of counters. So we have some cavalry, some various victory and influence counters, flags, and a Mongol counter. Here's the board. We'll take a quick look at the board. Move some of this stuff out of the way here. So the board is not giant. It is a relatively small board, 4 panels. It is oriented in kind of a portrait fashion. And it doesn't really fit on my small table here, but you can see, so starting at the top, right, we have Sultanate box. Here's Delhi. Then here's the Mongol invaders. These are your various areas, apparently, right? Again, it probably works in some fashion after what you would be expecting if you have played any of the coin games. Then here at the bottom, You have the Vijayanagara Empire, the Bahmani Kingdom, and then our sequence of play down here as well. And again, you can see the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal, etc. Very nice. The art is nice. I believe Mark Simonich was involved in the art, but Matthew Johnson did the art. It looks very good. What else do we have? Well, we have baggies because GMT generally gives you baggies with all your games. We have some dice and some nice colors here. Some kind of gold and red and a gold and kind of ivory, I guess. And then various, as you would expect with a coin-like game, some meeples, some cubes, etc. Some little wooden bits, right? And of course, cards. So here are our cards. So you've got references, attack, and icon. Some various cards for each of the factions. Based on the colors, this would be the Sultanate, and no, this would be Vijayanagara, sorry. This is Bahmani, and that's the Sultanate, I think, if I remember from looking at the board 2 seconds ago. Okay, so those are kind of like faction-specific cards, and then this would be your event deck. And then you can look and see. They're numbered, they're in order, so you have 1 through 36, and then you have the Mongol invasion and the Timurid Empire card here at the end. So all of these will have a description in the playbook where you can find out what all of these mean. If you're like me and are not overly familiar with the history of that region, especially in the 14th century. So this is, for me, this is an opportunity to play something that I'm really going to learn some stuff with, which the last time that happened was with Border Reavers, which is also from GMT. And I learned some stuff that I didn't know before. So it's always cool. One of the things I like about playing war games and historical-based games is the opportunity to learn some new stuff and have fun while you're doing it. So that is always enjoyable. So there you have it. I'm going to repack the box here. And, well, I think this was on top of these. So we will do, oops, we need the board first. Grab the board, put these, various books, and the cover. There you have it, Vijayanagara from GMT Games. Just got it. We'll be playing it at some point in the not too distant future. I do have a lot of things on my plate, so I can't say when, but hopefully soon. I do want to play this. It looks like it'll be fun. I do like games that have solitaire bots. I would also love to play it multiplayer. We'll see. But video-wise, it'll almost certainly be a solitaire thing. So look for that in the future, hopefully. If I do get an idea of when I might do it, I'll probably mention it in one of my channel updates. But for now, that's going to do it. As always, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you would like to post a comment, I will do my best to reply. Please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. All of that stuff helps my channel grow, provides me good feedback, shows me that people are watching and are engaged or willing to engage with the content, so that's always good. But even if you don't do any of those things, I hope you enjoyed what you've seen and that you'll come back and check something else out down the road. But either way, that will do it for now. My name's Joe. This is the Hexed Encounter channel, and until next time, as always, happy gaming.